closed all my rings since I've been wearing it, whatever that means. All right. And it's got a timer on here. That's what.
Okay.
All right.
That makes sense.
I got to get my coffee going now. I tell you, I didn't like the Yetis just because of the fad of it. Like, because like everyone was getting Yeti and everyone's been, I don't want to pay no $300 for dang cooler.
Oh, I won't. I refuse.
The Coleman does just fine.
Well, Jake got me an Arctic for Christmas. A couple years ago. That's what I took on my bear hunt. It's the same thing. They all do the same thing.
Yeah.
Or you can go to Walmart and get their brand. Mm-hmm. It's like $80, and it does the same thing. Hard to beat that.
Yeah, I can't justify, because a lot of people will buy that, take it to a couple, events or something, and then, it sits in the garage just like everything else. You got a booger in there?
I don't actually know what it was. It's a little black blob of something.
Oh, that's just some coffee grit. You know what I do want to make sometimes is is it like mud?
No, I don't like. I drink my coffee black, and my throat's a little scratchy, so I put honey in it. Mm-hmm. I don't like it, but anyway,
a little too sweet.
Yeah, I don't like sweet coffee. I quit putting cream and sugar in my coffee like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, so this is a 30-some ounce? I don't know. I'm guessing a 32 ounce is the standard, I guess. But anyway, that right there has 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. That's it.
Still, yeah, I don't think I could do that.
Oh, it's good because it's not like overly. It's enough to take the edge off, but it's still bitter, if that makes sense. Yeah, and I can drink it just black, like no sugar or nothing. But I don't know. I just I got nothing to prove.
Oh, I don't care how people drink their coffee. I just don't. I'm not used to it, so it's like kind of a kick in the teeth a little bit.
Yeah, and another thing is, you got to look at where I started from. I started when I was in high school drinking coffee. I would make so let's say the white part of this mug. That's creamer. The rest is coffee. That's how I started off, and it made me sick. Like sugar and cream this much. It's not even coffee at that point.
That's how my mom drinks it. She gets a cup of milk and puts a little coffee in the top of it. I'm like, no, I can't do that.
She's good at making stuff that tastes good, and she enjoys stuff that tastes good herself. That just makes sense.
Yeah. I like my black coffee, but yeah, no, my throat hurts a little bit. Or no, it doesn't hurt. It's just scratchy, probably from yelling. But yeah, the honey in the coffee has caught me off guard a little bit. Anyway.
It's weird when you're not used to it.
Yeah. So have you still been off the dip, or are you dipping?
All right. So I've been on that about 2 weeks or more. I don't know. I kind of lost count of the days, but it's tricky to open. You have to open one side and then twist it off. I don't know. There's probably some trick to it. So, minty. You can try one if you want.
No. It probably make me sick.
It'll put you on your rear end. Let me tell you, them little things are powerful.
I don't want one.
I do 2 at a time just to try to. And all right, so back to your question. No, I've had one dip. So it was like Friday or Thursday night last week, and I'm like, dang, I got 2 pouches left. I really want to save them for tomorrow. That'll get me to the store. Whatever time I go to the store the next day. So I was like, I'll do a dip to get me through the rest of the evening. It was already like 9 o'clock. I mean, I didn't have long before bed. So I put one of the Stoker's, and that's not even like normal dip. It's like thick.
Yeah.
Like molasses, like almost like chew. I put one in for about 2 minutes, and it was so much nasty spit. Like I had to spit it out. It made me almost sick.
Huh. That surprises me.
I know, because I've dipped for how long? Since we were 17, 16? Mm-hmm. Or I have. You quit a long time ago. You knew better.
I quit because the girl I was talking to didn't like it.
Oh, yeah. Well, neither did my wife, but she still married me. But that's because I didn't never dip around her when we were dating. I did a little bit.
She just didn't know it.
She didn't know the extent. She told me a couple months ago, she was like, I knew that you did, but I didn't know you did it as much.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, it was have a meal, get that out of my system, or get the food out, throw in a dip. Go wake up in the morning, heading into work, throw in a dip. I mean, it was so, and it was and it's the routine of it all.
Yeah,
that's part of it. But with these, I find that it's cleaner. I spit a few times because it's just like dusty almost, and then after that, I move on.
So the question is, are you going to actually quit? Is that the goal?
The goal is to move from these. This is 6 milligrams of nicotine, I guess, and move to the 3. Then if they have like a 1 to none, because I found that I don't crave these as much as I used to crave dip. But yeah, I recommend those. I tried the fake dip that like looks like dip and supposed to taste like it. Nah, it tastes like garbage. The Black Buffalo stuff.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: all these I've seen hunters and all these different people recommend it. Yeah, if it works for them and it works for you, great. It just didn't work for me.
Why is that flashing?
Because it's recording.
Okay, it's supposed to do that.
I think because when you weren't recording earlier, it was solid red. So I think that means it is recording.
Should we check?
Yeah, go look at it real quick. But don't hit the top button. Hit that side button. If you can. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Power button?
Yeah, just bump it once.
Yeah, we're recording.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, the new carbine. So I actually wanted to buy a cowboy gun.
When you say cowboy gun, you just mean like a revolver, right?
Yeah. But like a 77 model, which I know there's really no cowboys back in 1977, at least not that use revolvers. But so I went into the place that I wanted to get a camera for this podcast, and I wanted to get that cowboy gun.
What did you sell?
I traded in an 80s model Colt 45 nickel plated.
Huh.
But the nickel plate was a cool little gun. It was a cool pistol, but I never shot it. It just sat. I'm not one to just collect guns that sit around. I want to shoot them. And the cool thing about that gun, that's the Kel-Tec Sub 2000, and it's 9mm.
Yeah, it's like a pistol.
Yeah, it is. But now they make them. So this is my everyday carry, which is my Glock 19. My grandpa got me when I joined the police academy. So I'm going to make it safe real quick.
Do you carry that when you're on duty too?
No, I carry.
You carry a Smith & Wesson, yeah.
All right, so you look and make sure it's not loaded.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, so hand me that gun real quick. The cool thing about this, and I'm not promoting Kel-Tec or anything, but the cool thing is this is the magazine that comes with it.
Yeah.
Pop it out. Glock 19.
It's the same, yeah. Now, it's the same as the 17, isn't it?
Yeah, 17.
It's the same. Yeah, they all use the same thing because that's my Glock 17.
Yep. So if I pop that one out, all right, and then I'm gonna put this in my lap real quick because this just got iron sights. I don't even think I'm gonna put a red dot on it. So this is the magazine that comes out of this.
Yeah.
Boom. Ready to go.
Yeah. So you got one magazine for everything you're toting.
Right, and they're interchangeable. Now you're not going to be picking off people at 1,000 yards with this, but I mean if you're clearing a house, something like that, I mean this is perfect. Now it doesn't come with this foregrip, but I added the foregrip, and I'm probably. I don't know. I definitely want to add a sling, and then they've got extensions. So this is your charging handle.
Yeah.
And it bit me right there. It bit me good. But this is the charging handle right here. So you can literally keep it right here, push the foregrip forward, pull that back at the same time, charge it, ready to go. And I mean,
okay.
The only thing I need to do is figure out my front sight is too high because I'm shooting everything high right now, or shooting everything low right now.
Yeah.
So I tried to adjust it, and I think I made it worse. But no, I mean it's so cool, man. I saw this, and they were able to give me a pretty fair trade for this and the camera.
That's pretty good for like a dinky old 45.
Yeah, it was that, and it was a used gun that someone gifted me. It was like some Asian model, what are those little? Not a Derringer. It was like a repeating Derringer, like tiny 25 caliber.
Yeah, little, something you just wouldn't even use.
Yeah, slightly bigger than a 22.
Yeah,
but it was tiny, and someone just said, "Hey, I have a gun. I don't want someone that just is not comfortable around guns," which is a shame. But
they have any more?
No, I wish I would have took everything they had. Yeah. Trust me.
If you don't want them, that's okay.
Yeah, no,
we'll make you more comfortable.
Yeah, here, I'll set this in better place.
Here, on my squirrel tails.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't remember what I was going to say now. Oh, I have a 7 mag that it's a Remington Model 700 7 mag. Like it's not like it's a really nice gun, but like it's a good gun. Mm-hmm. I bought it from my brother's business partner. It had a modified trigger, but they put a cheap scope on it, and it didn't. It's a 7 mag. It blew the scope all to pieces. Oh, yeah. They shot it twice, and it killed everything inside the scope. So yeah. I bought it for like $300, which is a good price for that gun. Mm-hmm. And I have never shot it. It looks brand new, and because I don't shoot it. Now I might keep it now because I shot a bear with a 270 and never recovered the bear. Oh, and gosh, so. I might keep it, so I've got a bigger caliber rifle now. But I cannot get rid of that gun to save my life.
Oh. Well, we're having a technical difficulty with.
Oh, I see what happened. Okay. Anyway,
7 mag.
I can't sell that gun to save my life. I don't know why, but it's like I've tried to sell that gun 3 times and nobody will buy it. Like you'll mention something to somebody that's like, we know a handful of people who like sell guns, at a shop or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll get rid of it for you." 4 months later, it's like, "Oh yeah, no, nobody wants it." I'm like, Christmas rolled around, nobody wanted to buy a 7 mag, like. And I don't have to get rid of it. It's just like you said, it's the whole, I don't use it. So you're thinking, well, heck, get your money out of it. And I don't know what it is. That gun is cursed because I have tried to sell it 3 times and nobody wants a 7 mag. So I'm just going to keep it.
I bought one. You remember when I had a 7?
Yeah, they kick like a mule.
Yeah. I've never had, this is when you were probably, or we were both, 15, 16. My first rifle.
Yeah.
And I went by the place in King downtown, not Sheddick's, but the other place. And I went in there, and they had a Marlin lever action 30-30. Or 30-06, one of the two. And I've heard of both of those calibers, and I was like, I went up there, and I loved that gun.
Yeah.
I loved it. Now, this is back before I really had any type of income, and but my birthday was coming up, so I talked to my grandpa, and either my grandpa or my parents or something, and they were like, "Yeah, how much is it?" Like a couple $100, maybe $300. It's used, and so it had a cool scope combo and everything. It was just an older gun, and so I went and looked at it. Went and got them, and like the next day or the day after, went up there to get it, and gone.
Yeah.
And so the guys was like, "Yeah, I remember you looking at that gun. Well, look at this one. It's a 7 mag."
Yeah.
And I mean, I was a bigger kid, so I could handle it. But I remember the first place I shot it was up here at your dad's stand.
Yeah. Yeah, we were going to sight it in.
Yeah, and you said, "This thing's going to give you scope eye if you're not careful."
Yeah.
And that thing, I've shot 150 grain now out of a muzzle loader, which that kicks like
crazy. They do kick.
And then I've done, of course, AR-15s, nothing like that, hardly any recoil, 12 gauge buckshot, slugs, all that. that was the hardest kicking gun, and it was like the wood in that. It was a wooden stock,
Yeah.
and it must have been light because it. I mean,
Well, see, mine's synthetic.
oh, so it's even lighter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
So you have to have a muzzle brake on it.
Who would even make that?
I guess Remington.
Oh.
But yeah, it's funny. My wife actually had a 243, or no, excuse me, a 270, and it was a synthetic stock 270. And oddly enough, that 270 kicked as bad as that 7 mag did. She shot it one time. And she said she didn't want it, and we had to get rid of it. I started Levi, actually. He wanted a rifle.
Yeah.
It's a good rifle. Just it kicked like you would not believe for what it was. Funny you said that about scope eye. Me and Jake were shooting one day on our land, and he always has some sort of fancy, I don't know, gun. I shoot what I can go to the store and buy ammunition for.
Right.
Because I want to keep it simple.
Right.
He's always shooting something that's like, you got to shoot this gun to neck down this brass so that you can make this bullet so that you can shoot it out of that gun. I'm like, okay, yeah. So he had something, and he's like, do you want to shoot? Because him and a couple of his buddies were all shooting, and I just happened to be there, like doing prep for deer season or something. I don't remember, but I was like, yeah, let me see it. And I got down, and he had his shooting bag there, and I don't remember what the gun was, but I shot it, and I get lined up, and I'm looking through a Night Force scope with 100 things going on in it. Like, I need mil dots and crosshairs.
Yeah.
I don't need... it looks like something you would see on the cockpit windshield of a Star Wars fighter ship. So
you got graphs and you have seismic activity in one corner.
Yeah, and he's like, all you have to do is just look through this and pull the trigger. I've already got it set up. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I get on target, pull the trigger, and as soon as I do, bam, hits me right in the eye. Blood starts pouring down. And it was one of the funniest things that's ever happened because he doesn't have stuff like that happen to him because he shoots all the time. Like, he runs competitions. He's good with all his guns. He's like, I got mad. I was like, this stupid gun. Like, I told you I didn't want to shoot the stupid gun. I was right where you told me to be. It got me anyway. He's like, you didn't do it right. If you did, you wouldn't have got scope eye. So he gets down. He's like, let me show you. Pulls the trigger. Bam! Hits him same spot. So all of his friends are sitting there. They're laughing. They're dying laughing, And he was mad. And I was like, Talk to me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Maybe if you had it and you were positioned right, it wouldn't have happened to you, Jake.
Yeah.
What happened? And so for like a month and a half, not one of us, but both of us had to walk around with this stupid scab over our eye where the scope bit us both. So yeah, but that was great because I'm like, I was right where you told me to be. Pulls the trigger, bam, hits him in the same spot. I'm like, yes, thank you. I told you. I told you I had it right.
Divine intervention.
Yeah, something
helping you out there.
Sometimes karma will catch up to you, especially if you think you're going to tell somebody in a situation how to do something and look cool. It will bite you every time. You can do it 100 times with nothing ever going wrong. And then all of a sudden, the one time when people are watching, you can go through the same motions and it'll get you every time. I don't know why that is, but it does.
It does happen. It's like if you're by yourself, you can do something 100 times, like you said, and nothing ever happens, and everything goes smooth. But the first time you bring in someone to watch you do it, it's catastrophe.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we should do some type of intro, you think? I guess we're already in it.
I guess we're already in it, yeah. Well, this is the Donnaha Station. Welcome to the Donnaha Station. This would be episode number 5. Number 5.
Is it?
Yeah, because your dad's was 2 parts. So Wayne came by part 1 and Wayne came by part 2, which would be 3 and 4.
3 and 4, and then this will be 5.
Yeah. Episode number 5.
Goes by quick.
Yeah. Let's talk turkeys.
Let's do calls. We have, I haven't been turkey hunting in a long time, but, or for a long time. I went last season, and that's where these feathers and this foot came from, and they're dried out, luckily. But anyway, but I have not been a turkey hunter long, in the sense that
it depends on how you look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like we've talked about, in like the pilot episode and all that. My dad wasn't a hunter, and I didn't really have anybody in my family directly that hunted. I had an uncle who hunted, but he really just kind of went by himself,
But here's the thing: I didn't really turkey hunt. I grew up deer hunting.
Yeah,
I grew up squirrel hunting and coon hunting a little bit, but you actually were the one that said, "Hey, we should try turkeys and go after turkeys." And I was like, "I don't want to hunt a stupid bird. Like, I want to hunt my deer or whatever." But you talked me into it. Mm-hmm. So we went turkey hunting. Gosh, I don't know. I guess we were about 16. We'd been driving for a little while when you started to get the bug to turkey hunt. Because I tried to get you to deer hunt for a while, and you're like, I don't want to deer hunt. But somebody kind of got you interested in turkey hunting.
So I guess the first person, sorry, doing a coffee refill. This is like motor roll. I made it strong. So I'm going to be pumped up here in a little bit. Anyway, sorry. God, sorry, I got too much going on. So the first person to get me into turkey hunting was the guy who taught my hunter safety course.
Okay.
And so I don't know how it is for other states, if we get anybody from other states listening to this, but North Carolina, you have to have hunter safety course.
Mm-hmm. Most states you do.
Yeah, I figure most do. But so this guy comes in, and he looks like a little bit like Sam Elliott. I don't remember his name, but he looks a lot like Sam Elliott, talks a little bit like him, just like he is a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big mustache, all that. And deep voice, and he's wearing this shirt, a shooter's shirt, like it has the leather thing right here, like that is just one corner of the shirt.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Just for like a pad.
I have no idea what you call that, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's wearing that, and on the back are turkey feathers, like designs, like a Hell's Angels type of, or biker club.
So he's hardcore.
Hardcore. Cowboy boots, dressed to the nines. I mean, looks. But anyway, he said people. When he was teaching us, he was like, "Yeah, people come get me just because I have." He didn't say he's superhuman or anything, but basically saying his hearing
is top notch.
And that's why people get him. And he had the proof.
I mean, he could like hear turkeys firing off in the distance way further than most people or something.
According to him, yeah.
Yeah.
But he. Because it was taught by 2 or 3 people over the span of a couple days. And one guy was like, yeah, he's the real deal. Like, he is a good turkey hunter. I wish I knew his name.
But see, I think that's why I didn't want to get into turkey hunting, was because the people who turkey hunt, it's like they're obsessed with it.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't get it because I'm like, when I shoot a deer, I can eat that deer for a long time. Mm-hmm. You shoot a turkey, it's like kind of a one meal thing and you're done.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple, but I didn't get it because, like, I know guys who'd be like, "Oh, I love to hunt deer, but turkeys, man." I'm like, I didn't get it. But anyway, so you got in your head that you wanted to go on a turkey hunt. Mm-hmm. So we had been, we were old enough that we were driving. We had a little independence. We both had jobs at that point. I'm pretty sure you already had a job too. I was helping my dad on construction sites.
I was pushing the lawnmower.
Yeah, that's right.
14, 15, yeah.
Yeah, so we decided that we were going to do a camping trip, same place that the goose story took place from your dad's episode. Yeah, we camped down there.
Yep, across the way. We
were going to camp that night. We were going to get up the next day, and we were going to go turkey hunting on my great-uncle David's land, which my dad now owns. But at the time, he had said we had permission, we could go, because I knew there were turkeys that roosted way back in on the hills above where the creek bottom is. Mm-hmm. So we got together, we were hanging out that night, and probably stayed up too late talking about something stupid, and we didn't even know. Did it rain? No, it didn't rain.
No, it was just dew.
We just got our feet wet the next morning, didn't we?
From what I remember, it was. Well, is this the same one with the
shoes?
Yeah, woken up in the middle of the night. Yeah. So from what I remember, is it was just me and you, because honestly, who no one else really was out of our friends. No one else really hunted a whole lot. So it was just me and you. We'd camped out, ate dinner, and we were going to get up, butt crack of dawn, and go.
Yeah.
And we go to sleep, and I don't sleep good
Without a fan.
Without a fan or noise. The creek helped, though.
Yeah.
And, and so we're hanging out. We go to sleep. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night.
It was like 2 a.m.
Yeah, it was early.
Yeah.
Like you wake me up. I feel
it was that still time at night. It had frosted, and there's something about when it frosts, you can hear a long ways.
Oh yeah,
and it was cold.
Oh yeah,
and it was in the middle of the night when everything had stopped making noise, and it had frosted over.
That's it. Yep. But you had a big tent, and it was covered. We had our shotguns in there, had all our stuff in there, and but I remember you waking me up, and I got to say. You weren't scared. You were just like, what is that?
Well, it didn't sound like what it was.
Right.
That's the problem.
Well,
I had heard this particular animal enough do what it did, but it didn't sound right. There was something wrong with it.
Because you're in the wilderness. You're in the woods. We could probably hop in the truck and get out of there wherever we park, but, you're out there.
Yeah.
You're a good 400 or 500 yards from any house.
Yeah.
At least.
No, we're like half a mile from any house.
Yeah.
Down there at the bottom.
Okay, yeah. So, you're like, and the only thing between me and possible death is this little thin sheet of a tent.
Canvas, yeah.
Yeah, which, that's the cool, mainly thing about it. It's like, it's me versus wild. Now, we had shotguns with, turkey shot and all that, but... So you wake me up, and I'm like, "What?" And when I emerge, you're awake.
Well, I had been listening for a while, and I'm like, "That cannot be a dragon or Bigfoot."
Can you do an impression?
No, I can't.
People will know what it sounds like, or will easily be able to figure it out once. Anyway, so wakes you up. Then you wake me up because I can sleep through I can sleep through a hurricane. Like my wife, she'll wake up. I won't even make a noise when I fart, but she'll just hear the air escape from my body. She's amazing. She's an amazing woman, but. So I wake up, and then I hear it.
Yeah, I was like, something's wrong. I don't know what this is, but I've been listening, trying to rationalize it in my head, and I'm pretty freaked out.
Well, and the thing is like in my family and some of my extended family believe in Sasquatch.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Like, I have we call her cousin Sandy. It's my dad's cousin, Sandy. Believes in, she'd be great to have on this. I just thought about that.
Okay.
But she loves like ghost stories, kind of like me. I love ghost stories. If Sasquatch was real, I'd be all into that, trying to find Sasquatch.
Yeah.
But I'd watched a lot of those shows, so immediately I'm still half in dreamland, half in reality. Yeah. Everything's black and dark. So I grab my shotgun, and we decide, instead of just... Because it doesn't go away.
We didn't want to just sit there and cower in fear. There's this moment when you think in your head, you're like, okay, all of a sudden, all rational thought goes out the door when it's dark outside and you're confronted with something that doesn't make sense. So, like, you can sit there and be like, Bigfoot's not real. That's stupid. Why would anybody believe in that? Or there's no wild pigs in this part of North Carolina, so there's nothing coming or anything like that. And I swear, I thought it was a freaking warthog when I heard it, because it was hoarse.
Yeah.
So we'll just say it was a deer that did it, but it didn't sound like a deer blowing.
Right.
And what happened is we had set up camp right there, basically in the middle of their travel path.
Right.
And we didn't know. We were young. And something was wrong with the way that deer blew. It didn't sound like a normal deer. And it was where it was standing above us on the ridge. When it blew, it echoed off everything.
Oh, yeah.
It was so loud. It was ungodly loud and it just kept doing it. And so
it got closer.
It kept creeping up closer and closer.
It would break. It's like, and another thing is, remember Jake, your older brother, telling us one time about how, I don't know how exactly you do it, but he told me, he's like, I'm going to wait till y'all are asleep one night. I'm going to creep out there and do a screaming banshee.
Yeah,
And
you can put a beeswax covered string with a nail on the end of it in a coffee can and pull on it, and it'll make this creepy noise. So we finally worked up enough courage after sitting there in a tent for like 25 minutes hearing this thing with our shotguns. We're like, well, we got to confront it. Like, if we don't get out of the tent, we're going to always feel like wimps about this.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, too. It's like we're either going to go confront this thing. It's going to run off, or we're going to shoot something like a bear or a pig,
Sasquatch.
Or a Sasquatch,
Yeah.
and we're going to make a discovery. Or we're going to get killed, and no one ever sees us again. But,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I'm not one of these people who really believes Sasquatch is real, but I also think the idea is really cool to me. Like, I'm all for it.
And when it's dark outside and you're sitting there thinking about it, it starts to freak you out a little bit.
Oh yeah, when you're out and you don't have, there's no TV, there's no creature comforts, there's no bathroom, there's no.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, all there is you and the woods, which is cool, and why me and you both enjoy that type of thing. It's survival mode the whole time. Your brain turns into a different thing. It's survival, and we couldn't see it.
And the thing is, I had convinced myself, I'm like, it's got to be a deer. Mm-hmm. But it was so loud. That's the thing. It was so loud, and it was hoarse.
Yeah.
And so it sounded more like a pig or something snorting than it did a deer.
Yeah.
And then about the time we were getting up to go out the tent, it did something I've never seen a deer do. And I mean, we didn't see it, but I remember hearing it. It ran at us as hard as it could and was snorting as its feet hit the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why I was like, we've got a freaking pig out here that's coming after us. And I was pretty freaked out at that point.
So the events in my recollection are, we're in the bottom of a valley, or a small valley.
Yeah.
With a creek running down the bottom, trees everywhere. But there's a little road, like almost an old logging road that went around in like a cul-de-sac.
Kind of,
like a circle, semicircle. And then we drove back out to go between the two ponds.
Yeah.
Beautiful little place to camp, and we did a lot. But I remember we got out of the tent. I don't even know if I brought a flashlight, but you had yours.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, but you were trying to save the battery, and there was a little moonlight. But the only thing, when you're in a valley,
this was before LEDs. Like, if you had a really bright light and you used it long, it was like gone.
Yeah,
and we knew we needed it the next day. I do. Yeah, I remember that. I borrowed it from my dad.
Or in the morning to go turkey hunt.
Yeah,
but so we start going towards the direction of the danger, like idiots.
Yeah,
but it did run away enough where we couldn't see it, anything but eyes.
Yeah.
And you knew.
I saw the eyes. I saw the color.
Yeah.
And again, I knew what we were dealing with. It didn't act like a deer.
No. And it's 2 a.m, and your rational thinking is not quite as good. So we end up tracking, and it continues to snort the whole time.
Acting really weird.
Yeah, it's 2:30 in the morning at this point. We're both got our hunting clothes on. Halfway,
because we were freezing cold. We wore everything we had.
Oh yeah, put it all on. It was cold, and we're trying and we're like part of us is like, okay, it's run off. We can go back to sleep, and the other part's like, no, we got to figure this out, or we gotta see it through, kind of. So we probably, from the time we got out of the tent to the time we figured out really what we were dealing with, what do you say, 300, 400 yards uphill?
Yeah, we ran uphill to a field and chased it.
Yeah, and it kept grunting the whole time.
And it would turn around, and it ran back at us a couple times.
Yeah.
Before running off into the woods. I've never seen a deer act that way.
I've seen bucks charge like smaller animals at a corn pile.
And they'll act crazy at the rut. But this wasn't the rut. This was turkey season. This was spring.
Months and months after, yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, we'd been up that whole night.
Oh, yeah.
With this crazy animal, which was a deer. We just wasn't a normal deer.
But here's the crazy thing. The way, in my mind, I remember I was behind you. We both come over the hill crest, and we come to that big field.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end was all the, it was a tree line, maybe pines or something. Maybe. But anyway, I remember you swept the field with your light. And we're at a distance where we can't shoot this deer with our shotguns and be effective.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, spotlighting, we're not about that. But you swept the field just to see what you could see, eyes.
Yeah.
And they were just sitting there on the edge of that field, like 100 yards away. Had to be 10 deer spread out. And then one of them just went off and blew again. It was insane.
That deer had a major attitude problem.
Oh my gosh, man!
And I think it was a doe, but I don't know. It could have been anything.
I didn't see a rack or anything, but it could be that we were literally right where they're in their bedding area or close to it, and they were just freaked out.
It did not like us there at all.
No,
and I did not like it there at all. So we went to bed. Tried to go back to sleep. We never could. We stayed up all night, and
we only had a few hours till. Really, we were planning to get up.
Yeah.
But doing all that tracking and going through the field and coming back, our feet got
a little wet. But if you remember what you're about to talk about happened after the turkey hunt.
Oh, did it?
Yes. Okay. So we get up the next morning. We're exhausted, and all we had was our 2 shotguns and one little slate call. I can't believe we don't even have a turkey call on the table. That's funny. But it was one that my dad had been given or he bought. I don't know, but. He let me borrow his little pot call, and we went out. We walked the whole way. I guess we were like, oh no, I don't know, man. People say turkeys are like really good at hearing, so like we need to walk. So we walked like a mile and a half from where we camped across a road down a barn road to where we went, and we were exhausted and we were in bad moods, and I didn't want to be there, but we start calling, and sure enough, no sooner do we start calling. It answers.
Yeah. And once you see, that's the thing about it. Those of y'all who don't know the feeling of turkey hunting, you can watch it on TV, you can watch other people do it, and it may be fun to watch. But when you have put the work in and you get one talking back to you, it's a pretty unique feeling.
Well, we got excited because we never had anything like that happen before, and that's not really. I mean, you can grunt at deer, but I'd never done any of that at that point. So we, being rookies, we start going after the turkey.
Yep.
Which is mistake number one.
Right, yeah.
I mean, we were tired and we were young, and so we'd call and he'd answer. And we'd walk a little more. And then we'd call and he'd answer and we'd walk a little more. And we chased that turkey for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Way back in the middle of nowhere, chased that turkey, getting madder and madder. Like, the stupid turkey won't just hold still so we can shoot it.
Well, the whole time he's wondering why this hen's chasing him.
Yeah, she's super aggressive. He's like, I don't like this one.
Yeah,
I'm getting out of here.
She's going to take over when she gets to me. She's like, I'm the man.
So we did not get the turkey, and that was our first turkey hunt experience. But we finally gave up. We were tired, and we were just like, this is stupid.
But we started so early.
Yeah, we didn't know any better. So we started at like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, and then I remember I don't know that Jake really does much turkey hunting at all or ever has, but he at least knew something we did.
He done a little.
He said, y'all are leaving? And we were like, yeah. And he's like, well, he was just sitting in the truck. He was like, you know that turkeys, they come out of the roost about the same time as chickens do. Like, y'all are way too early. Y'all don't have to come out that early.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what we're doing. So.
And we were tired anyway. So we went and we walked all the way back to where we started and camped. And it was like 7 at that point. I mean, it was still really early.
Yeah.
And our feet had gotten soaked in the dew that morning because, I mean, we just didn't have the right shoes.
Yeah.
And I think we walked through the creek a couple times looking for the turkey.
Yeah.
So both of us had saturated shoes. I mean, our feet were soaked.
Yeah.
So at this point, we are haggard. So we get back to the tent. We take our shoes off. And I'm like, let's stick our shoes around the fire so they'll dry. And you're like, I don't know, man. I think if we do that, they might melt. And I was like, I've done this before, and it'll be fine. What I didn't account for was we put them downwind. We get back in the tent and we pass out for 2 hours. I remember waking up, it was like 9:30.
Because we had no sleep.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Maybe a couple hours before, and we'd been walking at least a few miles through woods.
Yeah.
And back.
Soaking wet. Pants were wet. Shoes were wet. So we get out of the tent. I remember you said, oh no, my shoes. And I looked and the wind had blown that flame like steady for
right at my boots.
2 hours,
Yeah.
and it melted our shoes.
So
I mean, completely melted.
It looked like my boots. Yours, they just melted.
Yeah.
because yours was probably made out of like real leather.
I think they were tennis shoes, actually. Like I don't think I actually wore legitimate boots. I think it melted a pair of like running shoes it's all I could find the night before.
Well, I remember mine were Skechers, and when I tell you that I loved this pair of
They were your favorite boots.
They were one of my first pair. They were just lace up normal boots. They weren't steel toe, nothing crazy. But here's the thing: I need to do just a little backstory real quick. I didn't like boots growing up. I told my parents, if y'all are going to make me go to school, talking about grade school, if you're going to make me go to school, I'm going to be comfortable and wear what I want to wear.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I would wear shorts, the most comfortable pair of tennis shoes, and a T-shirt, and I'm not wearing nothing. If my mom wanted me to dress like a preppy kid, nope, that sits on the hanger. I'm not wearing that.
Yeah.
So I get to like middle school or whatever, and I watch Supernatural, the TV show.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you saw Dean's boots.
I saw both of them's boots.
Okay.
And they wore these, look just like the pair of Skechers that I saw. And I was like, I'll give these a try. So then I switched to that look, the similar, just with pants and boots.
Yeah.
And the boots were just like, it was a new type of feeling on my feet, like heavy, made me feel cool, made me like, I loved how they looked. They were Skechers. They were like $60.
Yeah.
I mean, they were comfortable. They support your ankle different than a tennis shoe.
Yeah.
It's like these now, these are Georgia boot, and I like how they support my ankle. I love that feeling because that's after I broke my ankle. And so I just like the feeling.
Yeah.
So long story short, these were like one of my favorite pairs of boots I've ever had, and can never find, ever since then, they make 100 different types of boots. Skechers does.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to find this pair.
Yeah, discontinued them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I look by the fire and I see the soles.
You've taken them out so they would dry. You took the soles out and laid them beside your shoes.
The actual rubber on the bottom of the shoes.
Yeah. Okay, I thought you took the insoles out.
I think I did.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think those survived, but I think
That's all that was left.
They smelled like horse crap, but all my shoes kind of do. But no, the actual rubber underneath the toes.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Have you ever put Peeps in the microwave?
Yeah.
So marshmallow or Peeps, or you can even put soap in the microwave, like a bar of soap.
Yeah.
But they had mushroomed like this and were this big. They looked like clown shoes. And I even tried to put the insoles back in them. And like maybe they'll, like, you know how a kid has this unrealistic, are not able to accept denial.
Yeah.
And unable to accept reality.
I was sitting there feeling like crap the whole time.
Well, I mean, and
it was my fault.
No.
Well, you told me, you said, I think they'll melt. And I was like, they're not going to melt. Let's get some sleep. Put your shoes out here and they'll dry.
Well, anyways, I tried to put them back on.
Yeah.
And they were done. Because every time you think you're standing straight up, you're leaning back because it's pushing you back. So really, you're leaning forward to counterbalance and make yourself stand straight.
Oh, man. The bad part is we had to walk all the way back from our camping spot barefoot. Because the day before we didn't take a truck all the way down there. We parked the truck at the top of the hill. Yeah. Because we didn't want to get it stuck. So not only did we didn't get a turkey, we got scared by the deer, and then our shoes got melted. I ruined your favorite pair of shoes, and then we had to walk barefoot all the way back to the truck. It was the worst turkey hunt ever.
It was cold and wet.
It was awful.
It was a learning experience for sure.
I wish you kept those shoes.
I did for a long time. They may still be at my parents.
I'd love to see them.
If I can find them, I will bring them back and set them on this table right here.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, while I remember, I gotta tell this real quick. So we were talking about. I hate to break up the turkey hunt conversation. We'll get right back. We'll get right back into it. But I have to make up for a mistake I made.
Okay.
So in the episode with your dad, we talked about the Allens and the book that my dad got. It was not written by Sidney Allen.
Okay.
The one your dad has is.
Yeah.
This one was like Roy Hall or something like that. A guy that a guy that did a lot of research and talked to family from both sides and people in that era. Anyway, I said that my dad gave the book to Haley and that Haley lost it forever.
You lost it.
No. I was over at, she never got it.
Gotcha.
So my dad was like, I don't know, it's somewhere, and I'm like, well, give me an idea. So he sends me back to the playroom / office. So I look in the bookshelf, can't find it. Mm-hmm. And my mom's like, what are y'all looking for? First time she's been aware that I've been looking for this for months. She says, it's probably in your dad's nightstand at the bottom. Look, it's right there. I go and look, it's right there. I'm like, if you would have just asked me, I'm the only one that knows where things are around here.
That's a good point.
I should have known better. So I owe an apology to Haley. So Haley, if you're listening, I apologize. You were
didn't
right.
steal the book, Haley.
You're a good sister, and yeah.
And we need to get her on here at some point in the near future.
Yeah. She got me, her and Lauren tickets to see Billy Strings next Friday. I'm pretty pumped about it, dude. He's talking about guitar player.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, there's not many that can play like him ever in the history of guitar. But anyway, let's get back to turkey.
Let's take a quick pee break.
Pee break?
Yep.
Okay. Top this off. I think I should bring my old coffee maker down here. We can just plug it up down here.
So we have more coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I can fit plenty in this thing. This is, well, there it goes.
I don't like a box call. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I've ever had good luck with a box call.
It's funny because I feel like I've done well with a box call.
Maybe it's just I've never had a good box call. I've never practiced.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always done. I don't know. And like we've talked about, I don't even think I have a granite.
I can't remember who makes it. There's one called it's a glass top, like a cherry bomb or something. Maybe, I don't know. They're really good. This one is actually, it was given to me as a gift for somebody we built a house for, and a guy makes them custom in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is. He told me, he said, I like these calls better than any call I've ever bought. Because he's like me, he didn't really like a diaphragm call. I don't like diaphragm turkey calls because maybe I'm just stupid, but every time I've used one, by the time I go to call with it, mm-hmm. and I've had it in my mouth a while, if I don't put it in right away, it's like they're stiff, and it mm-hmm. takes a while to get it where it needs to be. Right. But if I keep it in my mouth the whole time, by the time I go to use it, it's like it's covered in spit. Yeah. And I never know if it's going to come out right. So I just keep a pot call. But he told me that these calls, he said, I have better luck with this guy's calls than anybody else's calls. And he turkey hunts a lot. Yeah. And he's right. It's what I used to bring in my first turkey. Well, sort of. We should get to that story too. Yeah. About my truck. But anyway, what were you going to say?
About your truck. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we got to get into that.
I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, and that's the thing. I'm not super picky. And two, I've not been doing this my whole life. So I'm still kind of
figuring it out. Right, you're always changing what you like and don't like in anything.
And what I've found is with my setup, you are a minimalist when it comes to hunting. Like, you don't carry a bunch of stuff. You're light on your feet. You got your gun, 1 or 2 calls in your pocket. You're good.
Depends on minimalist. Because if I'm running a gun and I hunt with a tree saddle, and sticks on my back.
True, but I mean, I'm talking about just for like if we have a spot planned out and you're not doing that, and we're just going to be ground hunting, then I've always noticed I have a backpack with water and snacks.
I'm out there with my gun.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. I mean, but here's the thing, you have these two things, which one's not going to work without the other. Yeah. And where this stays connected the whole time.
I have lost my stick before.
Right. That's one thing. And I mean, it's not that you will. You can always, probably figure out a way, and they probably make ways to snap it together, put a rubber band around them like I put a rubber band around my box call to keep it from jiggling when I don't want it to. So there's also a trick. So what I've noticed is a box call, I can getting a rhythm of faster than this. Just me. But there's also more you can do with this than you can with that, I think. From what I've watched you do and what I've done, there's just more you can do. More sounds that I think you can get than I can. But there is a little trick that I watched a guy do. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but it's pretty cool. You take a rubber band, and see, I'll have a rubber band on mine anyways to keep it from moving, but I'll have it tight. If you do a rubber band loose, you can actually
make it sound like a gobbler on meth.
But here's the thing. The first time I heard someone do that, I'm like, man, he's just doing that because it's physically possible. It probably don't help. But the time we heard those 30 or 40, this is the past deer season.
You're right. I remember.
We heard it. We could see through one field into it the next.
Yeah.
And you saw them first.
It was the end of deer season.
Yep.
And we got done for the day. And actually, you went to take care of business. And
yeah, you can tell people I have trouble getting through the day without pooping.
it's because you drink too much coffee. No, you weren't drinking coffee.
No,
you had a bang or whatever. But anyway, yeah, you were taking care of business, and I'm sitting there, and I hear the worst ruckus I've ever heard in my life.
And I was in your shop pooping into a bucket, and I could hear this god awful noise.
The funny thing is, we have never seen a turkey on that property ever when we're hunting them. But I'm sitting there, and I'm like, What is that? So I walk down the hill and I look, and I just see a cloud on the ground of black moving. And so I get my rifle up. Whoops. And I'm looking through the scope at them.
You're just looking to see.
And I dial it in and I look, and I start counting. And there is between 30 and 40 turkeys at the top of that field, and they're just fighting and going nuts.
Oh yeah, I've never seen anything like that in like a hunting video or a show.
Yeah,
it was, and I'm sitting there trying to wipe and get my gun back in and get everything. And I come out to you, and you come to the door.
Well, the funny thing is, I thought you were on the far garage side of my shop, like to the side of the door. So I swing the door in and look this way, thinking I won't see you on the bucket. And I'm like, I got to tell him what's going on. This is crazy. And so I shoot the door open and swing and make perfect eye contact.
Right there.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, dude, there's like 40 turkeys out here in the field. And you're like, what? Sitting on a bucket.
I mean, I could hear what was going on, but I didn't know it was turkey. I mean, I could hear it, and I assumed it was turkeys just from hearing them in the past. But that's the thing. Usually you're talking to one or two turkeys max.
I've never seen anything like that in my life.
But I remember we came out and we watched them for a while, and they went right in the middle of that field, and they were fighting. They
were establishing dominance, man. It was crazy. And some of them were some big old toms.
Oh yeah. I mean, nowhere near season, and that's the thing. I had a trail camera or a deer camera up for the deer I wanted to shoot, and they were after that corn, and that's why we're not going to be able to hunt in that field. We'll have to be somewhere. At least I went in and checked and made sure there was no corn as of
first season
last week.
Yeah.
So I have to look at the regulations again to be sure that a game warden will walk out and pop us. But dude, that was unbelievable. But my point is, with that is that whole shaking the thing.
Yeah, it did sound like them.
It's not unusual.
Yeah,
because that.
When they're fighting over a hen, they'll gobble back and forth and start making a ruckus with each other.
Yeah, and so I don't think when the last time we hunt, the time we struck gold, I didn't do the shaking thing.
You did once.
I did once.
You did once because we were sitting there in the woods, and you're like, "Hey, check this out." And you shake it like that. And I was like, well, I'll be dang. I didn't know what you were about to do, but I didn't expect that.
It's amazing. I don't know if I saw it on TikTok or YouTube, but boy, it's a good trick. But really, I keep the rubber band around it to keep it from making any sound.
While you're walking.
While I'm walking.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Yes, this is probably the biggest hunting call you're going to take unless you have a speaker.
Yeah.
This is the biggest call you'll take. So that's why I have to have a pack. And actually, I have a side pocket, fits right in. I can slip it out. Slip it back in, no problem. But It is the most inconvenient when a mouth call fits like in your little pocket or by your phone, and you can just slip it in.
Yeah.
And some people swear by them, and I've used them, and I think we've had some luck talking.
I buy turkey calls, diaphragm calls every year. I buy a different brand, and I haven't found anything yet. Maybe that's just me, and like I want to do some elk hunts in the future. And, they're a diaphragm call too, and then you bugle into like a tube,
right?
But it's the call that makes the noise,
right?
So I don't know if it's a personal thing, and I just need to spit too much or something. I'm gonna have to figure it out. But turkeys, I've had better luck with a pot call. That's just me though. That's me personally.